JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today's the 21st of April 2022. So welcome everyone, welcome to this Thursday's morning session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, view the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimers. So the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the charts, as always, quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our JFD Bank website, and specifically our JFD research page, which is also updated on a daily basis. So yep, check us out here on jfdbank.com and click on the research tab right there on the top. So now then, jumping into the charts, the first one I want to quickly pick up here is Nikkei 225. So after it kind of managed to stay above this downside line, yes, it popped again above this 27,215 level. And what I said before, that if it trades above this hurdle, then I'll go for some higher levels, initially aiming for that 100-day EMA or even that 200-day EMA. But of course, the main target could be this downside line. Taken from the high of the 14th of September. Now, in a way, at the moment, I'm kind of considering this move, but of course, we'll have to be very careful near this downside line, because if it continues to, to hold, then well, another slide here could be possible. So at the moment, from the very short-term perspective, yes, I'm leaning still a little bit more towards the upside here. But again, by being very cautious, of course. Shanghai Composites, slightly different story here, and this one drifted lower, and of course, the market in general in China, the situation is a little bit difficult in terms of, according to the headlines, of course, that with the whole COVID thing. In a way, the market right now is, yes, it's not the best, and it's drifting lower. And from the technical perspective, you can see that we have dropped below that 3,160 territory. I talked about that level recently, recently this whole week I was talking about this, and what I said before was that maybe, just maybe, we could be forming here a possible descending triangle pattern, which we've confirmed, and we drifted lower. So yeah, everything's looking quite nice here from the technical perspective. Now, my next target will be somewhere around here, this low of the 15th of March, and that's roughly around that 30,064 level. That's what I'm going to be aiming for now. Certainly, of course, but slightly below that, we do have another potential good area of support. But let's not rush into anything. Let's first aim for this hurdle, and then we'll just take it from there. In terms of the upside for this one, I would need to see a break of this short-term downside resistance line taken from the high of the 3rd of March, and if we get a nice pop above it, then yeah, we'll go for some higher levels. Now the German index DAX, and yeah, this one pushed nicely to the upside yesterday. Look at this. I mean, look at this beautiful move, and look at how well this downside resistance line acted as a good area for a hold up. The idea is still kind of valid. The one that I've mentioned, this idea of seeing this, maybe this downside line as a potential resistance area. Now again, it's a very tentative downside line, because as you can see here, I can draw it this way. I can draw, I can try to capture our other peaks and highs here, but either way, I mean, still I'm keeping an eye on it. To simplify, we can probably look at this. This could be the last downside line here. So this connecting just this high and the high of the 29th of March. So the highest point of January and the high of the 29th of March. So if we connect these two, yeah, and draw this line, so we can see that we still have a bit of room here for for this. For maybe a further move north and a corrective move lower after that. But again, we have this other downside line, which is also is kind of in play here. So in other words, I will put it this way: you can keep an eye on this. I mean, it's currently pushing higher. The cash index is also trying to go further north, because it's currently sitting at around 14,406 level. So basically we are above this other downside line here, the one that I talked about previously, and we can keep an eye on this other one, the one that I just adjusted. So this one right here, this could be the kind of the last resort here for for the sellers to step in. So if we push higher and we get a hold of somewhere near this downside line, another decline might be possible. However, for the upside, further upside, I would say, yep, if we clear this 14,603 level, which I mentioned from the beginning of this week, if we clear that, then yeah, we'll go for some higher levels. Okay, I can see in the chat room here, yep, good morning to you too, and good morning to everybody else as well. I hope everybody's having a wonderful start of Thursday. Oh, by the way, until I forget, just to let you know that tomorrow there won't be any traders Espresso. We'll resume on Monday. But going back to the indices, Ibex, very quickly on that one. So the Ibex Index pushed nicely above this downside line. I talked about, if you remember, I've mentioned this one yesterday, and I said that if we break above this area, then above this downside line, then I'll go for some higher levels, where my next target will be this highest point of February of this year, near the 8,912 territory. I'm not really, let's say, aiming for much higher levels. I mean, I'll go slowly on this one, because still, in general, the market is not very stable. So we're just trying to kind of capture these opportunities whenever we can, but trying to limit our exposure into the market. So like I said, for now everything's looking quite positive here, and yes, I will aim for higher levels, but I will initially only aim for this highest point of February. In case this suddenly, let's say, starts dropping back below this downside line, then that's where it could become a little bit more interesting for a few more sellers. We could see this one, drifting lower, maybe towards this upside line. But if it breaks, then certainly, yes, this would place the that would be, this could open the door for lower levels. If, for example, we break this upside line, taken from the low of the 24th of March, because yeah, we would also be placed below all of the EMAs here on our daily chart. So in other words, if you're looking for some downside on this one, then at least wait for a drop back below this downside line. Thank you very much for the comment, Abu. Yep. Well, yeah, I don't know what to answer, but thank you very much for that. We will resume on Monday. There it goes. It's I'll let everybody rest from me for at least Friday. Anyway, okay, guys, coming back to Nasdaq 100. So yeah, look at this. I mean, we had a nice reversal here, and I mean, so far these two levels are working out. In general, the idea, what I talked about, is working out. So we got a nice hold up near this 24,265 area. However, let me just quickly take a look at the cash index, what's happening there. Okay, so we're currently trading actually above the psychological 14,000 mark. So we're still stuck in here. So in other words, kind of forming a range here. So I said this yesterday, and I said wait for a clear breakthrough this barrier first before kind of targeting higher levels. And well, this is exactly why, because we got a hold up here near this hurdle and we drifted back down. So I would say this way, as long as we stay in here, I'm just going to continue observing this one, because I really don't like these, and I'm going to wait for that confirmation breakout first, and then I'll do something about it. But at the moment it's just kind of moving sideways. If you do like these these scenarios, then of course you can jump in. However, always remember to have your stop loss in place, because well, this could move very, very quickly, and it might also move not in your direction. So always protect yourselves, guys. DXY dollar index, so beautiful move to the downside. Yep, correction happened, and I talked about this yesterday, so kind of mission accomplished. We tested this upside line. Now I will get rid of it because no longer needed. It was very, very tentative. So what I'm gonna do here is basically I will let me just check out something here before I go further. So okay, so this level here needs to get adjusted. Let me reuse it, and there we go. Okay, so what I'm going to do here right now is I'm going to keep an eye on yesterday's low near the 100.22 zone. If we drop below this, my next target is the 21-day EMA, or even these two levels right here around that 99.50 zone. So approximately, on average, this is kind of this area that I'm keeping an eye on. But like I said, in order to consider that move lower, yes, a drop below this hurdle is required. And this is, I'm kind of getting very excited, because I'm going to jump into some of the pairs, and because it wasn't what I said yesterday, that if we do see that corrective move lower than some of the other pairs, which I'm going to pick up, could start attracting maybe a few sellers, at least in the near term. But let's jump into gold very quickly. So a bit of a roller coaster ride yesterday, I would say. We broke this upside. We traded below this upside line, taken from the low of the 29th of March. We pushed higher, and yesterday we pushed kind of back above that 21-day EMA, but as you can see here, we found resistance just below this upside line. So it kind of, I would say, acted as a resistance area, and today we're seeing a bit of a drift lower. Now I'm keeping a close eye, very, very close eye on this area, this 19, let's round it up towards 50. So 1950 zone, I'm keeping a close eye on it, because it also coincides with the 21-day EMA, and the formation that I'm seeing here is, to be honest, a bit of a bearish one. However, a confirmation break is still needed. So for me, I would start looking at lower levels if we drop below that 1950 zone, and we stay below that area. If we do stay below that 1950 area, then yes, I'll go for lower levels, guys. At the moment, I'm just being very careful. I'm probably not doing anything. I'm not even considering the upside here, because for me, for the upside, I would take a very conservative approach and wait for a push above this barrier first. This is the 1981 level. A nice good push above it, yep, would confirm, actually wouldn't confirm a forthcoming higher high, but it would clear out the key resistance barrier right here. But at the moment, like I said, I'm keeping a close eye on that 1950 level. WTI oil. So the idea here is working out. So we're seeing a bit of a retracement here. So that's fine. We saw a bit of retracement. Now we're seeing a bit of a rebound. So either way, guys, looking at this overall, I would say, yeah, I mean, it might present itself with a nice opportunity here for the upside. However, due to the fact that it's kind of a bit of a that we are having a bit of crazy times right now, and everything's kind of driven by headlines. So I would say, keep your, and especially oil, so I'll say keep your eyes on this barrier where we found resistance recently. So this barrier is around the 108.70 zone. So I do understand that we could be missing out on a bit of territory right here, but we'd rather be safe than sorry. So I would say you could start, of course, you could start looking at higher levels if we pop above this 105.57 level, which is the high of the 5th of April, and also marks the inside swing low here of the 18th of April. So if we climb above that, then yeah, we could start looking at higher levels, but of course we would prefer to kind of wait for a push above this 108.70 just to be a little bit more on the safe side. This could still end up drifting lower, guys, don't get me wrong, but for now I would say I'm keeping let's say for today, I'm keeping an eye on this hurdle, this 101.60 area. I spoke about that level previously, so a nice good, because as you can see, previously it acted as a good area of resistance, then now it acted as acting as a good area of support. Although yesterday we dropped below this briefly. If we drop below this again, then I'll aim for the downside a little bit here, not much, because let me just adjust this arrow. Bear with me one moment. So if we drop below this hurdle, then I'll aim for for the crossroads here of this upside line and this downside line. But again, let's not rush into anything for now. That's what I'm keeping an eye on. Litecoin, very quickly on that one. To be honest, the crypto world is a little bit on the boring side right now. However, whenever it's calm, it could be calmness before the storm, but of course let's see if that storm happens. So a few adjustments have to be made here. So previously I talked about this downside line, which we broke and we traveled a little bit higher, but then you can see that we didn't end up moving all the way towards that 200-day EMA, and instead we just kind of drifted back down. So this downside line needs to go right now. We can reuse it in a way here, maybe drawing something like this. And yep, in a way actually this could work nicely, because this upside line taken from the low the 24th of February, tentative one of course, this tentative upside line, if we break that, then yep, at the same time we would break this key support zone at 104 area, but I think needs to be redrawn here. Yes, I think that's not going to be the case anymore. So this is where I'm going to put this new barrier, new support area, this 101.74 level. This highlighted area needs to go. Yep. So this recent low, the current lowest point of April, if we drop below that, then yep, we could consider lower levels here, because such a move would confirm a forthcoming lower low, and potentially more sellers may join in. But at the moment, even with the upside, I'm struggling here, because I need to see a push above this 118.47 level in order to get a little bit more comfortable with higher levels. Now jumping into a few pairs, AUD and USD, quick update. So beautiful rebound, look at this, I mean beautiful move to the upside. However, as I said previously, that I'm still keeping an eye on this 0.7467 level in order to get a little bit more comfortable with the upside. So at the moment, guys, yep, let's see how this is going to play out, but yeah, it's looking quite promising. Yesterday, if you remember, I mentioned that if we pop above this 21-day EMA, then we could already start looking at higher levels. But yeah, if but of course, preferably a push above this barrier, above the 0.7467 would be needed in order just to go for some higher levels. Now USD JPY, perfect. So okay, beautiful reversal yesterday. So today we had a bit of a corrective move higher, but again the bears are kind of trying to take over here. Let's see if they can do it or not, but at the moment I am leading maybe for a bit of a correction here to the downside. But let's not forget, the reason why I'm saying correction is because we're still above this upside line taken from the low of the 7th of March of this year. So if we drift lower and test this, this is going to be, like I said, my first aim, kind of my first target. So especially if we drop below yesterday's low, which is roughly around that 127.46, if we drop below it, then yes, I'll aim for this upside line, which if holds, then yeah, it could open the door towards some higher levels. I mean, later on, because we could see a rebound and a push back up. But if of course this upside line gets broken, then certainly yes, we could go for lower levels. Anyway, long story short, guys, for now, basically we potentially could have received our signal already for maybe to see a bit of a corrective move lower, and of course, considering the fact that DXY is also showing signs of weakness, then maybe, yeah, this pair could move a little bit lower here for a bit of a corrective move to the downside today. USD Cad, so this one is already in correction mode, and look at this. I mean, let me just adjust a few things here. First of all, this arrow needs to go somewhere else. Now we have dropped below some key support zones levels, if you can see here. So we dropped below that 1.2587, then we dropped actually below this hurdle, this inside swing low of the 1.2522 area, and now we're we're approaching this key support territory, excuse me. Which is in between that 1.2450 and the 1.2465 levels. Now, of course, I will just stick probably to that 1.2450 area. So a nice good drop below this, yeah, may open the door towards lower levels, and we could see this one, you know, drifting further south, guys. So at the moment, but of course, I'm going to be very careful in order not to see this one maybe, you know, ending up being a range here. But this is the kind of the last thing that I want to see here, is maybe a range. But anyway, you know, the market doesn't always do what I want it to do. Another thing to consider here potentially is this downside line. So in other words, we could be seeing a possible descending triangle here. In that case, maybe, you know, even if it rebounds from this 1.2450, it travels higher. Keep your eyes on this downside line, because if it holds, maybe, you know, we could see this one, you know, bouncing around here a little bit, and then, yep, we could see this one moving lower. For now, either way, whatever it's going to shape up here to be, I still need to see that drop below that 1.2450 area, and then, yeah, we could go lower. GBP NZD quick update. So nice move to the downside, tested this downside line from above. I talked about this. We also tested that area near that 21-day EMA, from which we rebounded, pushed higher, but still we are struggling with this 1.9367 level, or in general this whole resistance area between the 1.9325 and the 1.9367. So in order to go higher, yes, a push above that, this whole area is required, guys. For the downside, as I said before, I'm looking at this 1.9040 level in order to get comfortable with the downside. Or actually, let me just, I think this might be not the case anymore. Just bear with me one moment. So this is not going to work, no, because I think, okay. So 1.9020 zone. Okay, that might be right. Let's put it this way: the 1.9057. I think that could look better a little bit than this 1.9040, because as you can see here, previously it did act as a strong area of resistance. Maybe now it could take the role of support. Maybe a temporary support, but yeah, if it breaks this, then this 1.9057, this is probably what I'm going to start looking at here in order to go for the downside. But at the moment, guys, this, until it's trading here, it's kind of in no man's land. GBP USD, beautiful rebound again from that 1.30 zone. Look at this, guys. But again, as I mentioned before, yes, we rebounded, but we're kind of forming still that descending triangle pattern. So according to all the TA rules, these patterns tend to break to the downside, but we need that confirmation break first. GBPCHF, now, haven't looked at this one for quite a while. Previously I talked about something like this, where I said that if this downside line holds, maybe another decline could be possible, because maybe we could be forming here a descending triangle. Well, we broke that downside line, so we can get rid of it, because this is another thing that whenever we break that, we can scrap the whole idea. But the other thing that I'm actually keeping a close eye on is this. Will this end up being a oh, the arrow kind of drawn with me, yep, with this together. Will this end up being something of a range here? Well, let's wait and see, guys, because we got our strong reversal from that lower side of the potential range. We moved higher, and now we're kind of getting a little hold up near this 200-day EMA together with near this upper side of the potential range, which is around the 1.2417. If it continues to hold, and if DXY decides to go for a bit of a retracement right now to the downside, then well, we could see this pair maybe also moving lower. Or so back down. So keep that in mind, guys. For now, like I said, I'm considering this to be maybe a possible kind of range. However, we should not exclude also the idea of seeing maybe this one as a bit of a maybe complex kind of double bottom pattern here in general. But like I said, let's not rush into anything. First, let's see how it's going to perform around here. If it continues to struggle to overcome this 1.2417 area, then maybe a bit of a retracement here could be possible. Euro Cad, very quickly on that one. This one's a little bit annoying. This is my second least favorite pair, I would say. Yeah, it's drifting now below this key support zone, and it drifted below that. But look at where it found support. It found support near this 1.3522 zone. And that level was, just let me show you what that level was in the past. That's the low of the 29th of June of 2015. So we found support near this area. Again, let's put it this way: we dropped below this highlighted area. Okay, so that kind of one part of the idea is working out, but we're struggling to move further south because we found strong support near that 1.3522 area. So in other words, if you're looking for lower levels, guys, wait for that drop below that hurdle. At the moment, I think that this highlighted area can go, not really needed. This level here, the low of the 14th of April, we dropped below it yesterday. We dropped below it today. This 1.3555 area, I talked about this yesterday, and we dropped below it, but somehow it seems that the bulls are trying to keep the pair above this hurdle. Yes, we had our false breakouts, but will this be seen again as a false breakout below this hurdle? Well, today, I mean, well, let's wait and see, guys. I mean, at the moment, it's a bit of a difficult one here. If by any chance today, for example, it stays above this 1.3555 area, well, I mean, I'm struggling with these further declines, guys. I mean, yeah, and that's why I'll just maybe keep an eye on maybe for a potential retracement here back to the upside towards this downside line. And finally, EURUSD, if we climbed back above this area, above this this 1 point, so basically the low of last week did provide good support. We failed to move above it, and now we're climbing higher. So if DXY continues to slide, or I shouldn't say, it starts correcting a little bit further to the downside, then yeah, we could see EURUSD actually traveling back to this 21-day EMA maybe. However, as I said before, for the upside, I would prefer still to wait for a push above this 1.0945 level, and then yeah, I could go for higher levels. A few adjustments have to be made here. This no longer is needed. We need to mark this high now. In terms of this highlighted territory also needs to go. We climbed above this 1.0806 level, so we can get rid of that. We can actually clean up the chart a little bit here, so we can stay only with this for now. And yeah, we at the moment keeping an eye on this area. If I'm looking for some upside, initially we could go for that 21-day EMA somewhere around here, but if we struggle to overcome it, maybe another slide could be possible. But however, if we overcome this 1.0945 area, then I'll go for some higher levels, guys. At the moment, for the downside, I need to see a drop below this 1.0757 level, and then yep, I'll consider a move lower, because such a break here would confirm a forthcoming lower low and a new low for April. Okay guys, so that's it for this session. I really hope you found it useful. I'm happy that you join in, guys. I'm happy that you watched this, and I'm happy that you leave your comments, your likes. I really appreciate that. So that means a lot to me. So if you want to catch me on Monday, as always at my Traders Espresso, 6 o'clock GMT time. Like I said, tomorrow there won't be any videos, so I'll catch you on Monday, and yeah, have a wonderful trading day today, tomorrow. Stay safe, have your stop loss in place, and have a wonderful weekend as well. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.